It's time for something good. Let's get to it. Welcome to Something Good. I'm your host, Christopher Sean Smith. We'd love for you to be a part of us. So click the subscribe button below. Like it, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you and things that may be going on in your community that you would like for us to participate. So today's guests will be Derek and Nicole Steele out of Social Justice Learning Institute out of Inglewood, California. So let's get right to the interview. Okay, guys, how you guys doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Fantastic, man. Life is good. Everybody's
Wonderful.
healthy.
Welcome to Something Good. I would like for you guys to introduce yourselves.
Cool. So my name is Nicole. I'm the Health Equity Program Manager here at the Social Justice Learning Institute. And that entails, or my job entails, community education. So making sure that people are empowered through education around healthy food and food access. Also creating that access through gardening, food rescue and giveaway, and then working with policy as well.
Fantastic. My name is Derek Steele. I'm the Associate Director of Operations and Finance here at the Social Justice Learning Institute. Nicole and I have both been at the organization for going on almost 11 years now. Doing great work in the community. I was originally came in with Nicole around the health equity work that we were doing. And, just in the framing of the organization itself, we're dedicated to improving the overall health, education, and well-being of youth communities of color. But I think what makes us unique is that we do that through what I believe are the three pillars of the organization. The first one is research. We are an institute, so yes, we do conduct research. But what is different is that we're not the ones leading that. Community members are the ones that are leading that. So whether that be the community members doing a community health assessment that are in Nicole's nutrition education class. It could be our urban scholars who are doing youth participatory action research. It could be our phone bankers talking to community members around the things that they believe need to change in the community. But they're the ones who are bringing the research forward. And then the second pillar is training, because we synthesize that information and then we develop the trainings that are necessary to give people the know-how on how to do certain things. So again, coming back to nutrition education classes, the physical activity classes, it could be the community town halls or stuff like that. The training is important. So once they have the knowledge from the research, once they have the know-how from the training, then they're the ones who are mobilizing the community, leading the way. So as an organization, we are just a vessel. We're a vessel for information, for context, for training, for resources, so that people have the ability to be the ones who are using their own agency to change each other's lives.
Man, that's so dope. It's so dope. So let's talk about originally. Let's get a little history on you guys. Originally, where are you from? Where are you originally from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, born and raised. But we met in Baltimore, Maryland. I went to Morgan State University. Nicole went to...
I went to McDaniel College. Nobody's ever heard of my school.
Why LA? Why did you guys come to Inglewood, California to Los Angeles? What brought you guys to this?
Great things happening in Baltimore. I spent 7 years in Baltimore through school and also just, living life. And Nicole and I met, and that was a unique experience itself, but we can tell that story a different day. But on the tail end of that, I had the choice between finishing school, which I was only a semester away, or taking the job at Northrop Grumman, which is an engineering firm here in LA. And I decided, I'm gonna go ahead and take the job because it was an opportunity. And this was like 2007, so right before the economic crash happened. So of course, when the country gets a cold, the Black community has already felt the effects of that long standing. So I was like, I'm gonna just take this job. They said it's good news and bad news. What's the bad news? Bad news is that it's in LA. So what's the good news? Well, you got the job. Oh, great. So, and I didn't think that was bad news. LA, I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's, Sunshine State, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But then I was perplexed, right? Because I was like, but I have this great woman that I met, and like, I don't know, like, what's gonna happen in life, like, and sure did I know when I told her. She was like, oh yeah, I'm coming. So we had the ability to move out here. The first 3 years was me actually working at Northrop, but then Nicole had the fantastic idea, and I think we'll talk a little bit more about how that came about in a few of doing the work in community around health, and that transformed our lives.
How did you guys come up with this organization? First and foremost, what is the name of the organization? What is it? What is it all about?
Okay, so the Social Justice Learning Institute is a nonprofit here in Inglewood, and we didn't create it by any means, but I'm grateful to SJLI and our executive director, Dr. Scorza, because like Derek was talking about, he really believes in the agency of people to make significant changes in their community, in government, in the school system, whatever that looks like for them. So to back it up just a little bit, we were here, Derek had a good job, we had health insurance finally after not having health insurance, just being young college students, and taking advantage of that, we found out that he was hypertensive at 25, and that's not okay, but it was a direct result of the way that we grew up eating. We're from 2 different cities on the East Coast, but I always say this, different hoods, same issues. We grew up with fast food everywhere and corner stores and liquor stores everywhere, eating chips and, Twinkies for breakfast on the way to school. That's just the way we grew up. And because of that, he was hypertensive. And so the doctor says, well, you need to eat better. And of course, we're like, okay, what does that mean? How do we do that? What are we supposed to do here?
No answers.
So as we started to dig into what that meant, and eating fresh fruits and vegetables, getting access to those things was difficult. We could walk 1 mile, less than a mile in any direction and get a burger and get pizza and get soda. But we had to jump through hoops just to get to a grocery store. And then once you get there, the produce is expensive. And how do you make it palatable? And how do I make my children enjoy it? And so I started to recognize that, I'm not the only person having these issues. A lot of people are having these issues. And, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I wanted to make it accessible and normal for people to start investing in and being conscious about what they put in their bodies. My belief is that if you are paying attention to how you eat and what you eat, then you'll start to pay attention to so many other things, and your agency will be free, to do so much other things. So long story short, Derek helped me write a proposal that I took to the mayor at the time, and he helped me kind of put together this task force of people, Department of Water and Power, Department of Parks and Rec, a couple of different nonprofits that he knew that were centered around community engagement and health. And through that is where I met Dr. Scorza, who was already running the Social Justice Learning Institute, doing mostly work with young men of color, our education equity work. But one of the things that they were foraying into was food justice. And so those 2 things kind of met up at the time. And here we are 10 years later with programming, and we've built over 100 gardens. We helped Inglewood start its first and only farmers market, a CSA program, policy work, food rescue and giveaways. So yeah, that's how that happened.
It was interesting because Nicole and Dr. Scorza met, and the organization was able to adopt the ideas that were in the original proposal. And then we took time to actually, first of all, we just jumped right in. We gave away, I think, 500 fruit trees that following January. Then we built the Queen Park Learning Garden like the following month. Did Inglewood's first Earth Day event that now is a staple in the Inglewood community. And then we actually dug down and said, okay, well, what does the program actually look like if we're really going to do this? And spent a summer really building that program out. And everything that you see the organization doing now around health equity came from that one summer of really digging your heels into future cast. You know, what does change in the community actually look like, and how do we get there? And what systems do we need? What team members do we need? What types of policies do we need to change? What type of changes in the built environment need to happen in order for us to actually get to this, you know, beautiful picture that we have in the future? And so that is the work, and that's the end that we're still working to achieve. But man, to be a part of that work, but then also see how the world is starting to mold around the language and the education and the empowerment that we'd be able to provide to community members through the fundamentals that we created has been an amazing journey.
But also, let me be very clear, right? We there's so many different entry points for this. We do have to take personal responsibility, and that's what a lot of our classes are about. But we also have to hold accountable the white supremacist and classist system that puts all of these things into our neighborhood as well. Mm-hmm. So I want to be very clear about that. We are not just telling you need to, you know, this is not finger wagging. We're also engaging people to understand this is what food justice is. This is what health equity is. This is what our landscape looks like because of the decisions that decision makers and big corporations have made. And this is how we fight back together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why we have you here on Something Good, because we need to hear this. I got another question for you guys. And you guys, of course, are located in Inglewood, California, but do you service outside just the Inglewood area, which I know this, but I want to hear, you know, what kind of services would you guys do or present for people who maybe not be in the Inglewood city itself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we currently, we're in a very different situation right now with COVID happening. So currently we're doing food giveaways all throughout South Los Angeles because we want to make sure that people still have access to life-giving foods and food in general, because times are uncertain. People are losing jobs, losing income, but you still need to be able to feed yourself and feed yourself well. So we've been in Compton. We have a regular food giveaway here in Inglewood, and are in talks with some other organizations to help do food rescues and food giveaways in other spaces.
Can I real quick?
Mm-hmm.
She's saying food, but we're talking specifically produce, like because there are also food items, but one of the things we're putting emphasis on is making sure there's access to healthy foods and access to produce, mm-hmm. Which is a very, very big piece of what we've been doing from jump. But as far as the giveaway piece, something that we've been doing for like the last maybe 2 or 3 years. So.
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. And then we are doing our classes virtually right now. So we actually do weekly on Instagram and Facebook a nutrition education class that's free and available for anyone. And then we offer tailored classes for agencies or spaces that would like to have that as well. And then in regular times, yes, we work outside of Inglewood. I've traveled sometimes with you as far as, I can't even remember, Long Beach.
Orange County?
Yeah, stuff like that. And we do gardening as well. If there's a school that would like to look at gardening or curriculum that helps to integrate learning with gardening, we're happy to do that too. We do Zumba and physical activity so that people have safe spaces to be physically active, and then our policy work goes as far as Sacramento. So,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wow, yeah,